I thought it was just a birthday party. But one dropped fork changed my life. We met among laughter, candles, and accidental glances. I'm a kindergarten nanny. He's a hotel administrator. Two tired people who didn't yet know they'd become home for each other. Our days are filled with children's drawings and funny guests. Our evenings, with warm blankets, tea, and a silence that feels safe. But love isn't always easy. Jealousy, fear, doubt, that moment when everything feels fragile. We didn't walk away. We chose trust. We chose each other. And 1 year later, a small wedding, quiet smiles, and the understanding. Real love isn't promises. It's a choice, made every day.
Love Stories Max. Welcome to my channel. Enjoy watching, friends.
Between a smile and trust. I never really believed in fate in the classic sense. Life always felt more like a collection of coincidences we later romanticize just to make it less scary. But that evening, at my best friend Emily's birthday party, I caught myself wondering, what if some coincidences actually have a plan? The celebration was in a small loft with big windows and warm yellow fairy lights. Emily loves cozy chaos, so everything felt a little messy but deeply homey. Candles on the windowsills, old vinyl records, laughter, glasses constantly getting mixed up. I arrived a bit late, holding her gift and trying not to step on the host's cat, who had clearly decided he was the most important guest of the night. "Sarah, finally!" Emily shouted and hugged me so tightly, as if we hadn't seen each other in years instead of just 2 days. And that's when I saw him for the first time. He was standing slightly to the side, near the table with snacks, trying very carefully to cut the cake, but he looked so focused, as if he were defusing a bomb. Dark hair, a little messy, a soft smile, and eyes that held something calm and steady. I didn't know his name yet, but for some reason my first thought was, he's definitely a good one. "That's Robert," Emily whispered in my ear, noticing my glance. "My brother's friend. Be careful. He's charming and a little clumsy." I barely had time to smile when Robert, completely unaware of our whispering, suddenly dropped a fork right onto the floor. Our eyes met. He blushed. I laughed. And just like that, it began. With a small, very human moment of awkwardness. "Hi, I'm Robert," he said, a bit apologetically. "And yes, I just lost a battle with a fork." "Sarah," I replied. "Don't worry. This evening still has plenty of chances to get worse." We talked about little things. The music playing softly in the background. The cake. It turned out to be way too sweet. And we made faces at each other after every bite. Emily and her strange love for forest-scented candles. Robert joked gently, warmly, as if he didn't want to disturb the atmosphere. And I caught myself thinking that I hadn't felt this comfortable around a stranger in a long time. At some point, he suggested stepping out onto the balcony. It was cool outside, the city breathing quietly with its nighttime lights. We stood close, our elbows touching, and that felt more important than any words. "Do you always laugh like that?" he suddenly asked. "Like what?" "Like you're genuinely happy." I didn't answer right away. Maybe because, with him, I actually was. When the evening was coming to an end, I thought we'd just exchange numbers. But Robert lingered by the door, rubbed the back of his neck nervously, and said, "I don't know if it's too soon, but I'd really like to see you again. Without cakes and falling forks." I smiled. "I think we can try. But I can't promise anything about the forks." That night, I walked home with a strange warmth in my chest. I didn't know who he would become to me. I couldn't imagine how much laughter, tenderness, small habits, and big feelings awaited us. But I knew one thing. Emily's birthday gave me more than memories. It gave me a person who made the world feel a little softer. And sometimes, that's more than enough. After that evening, our lives didn't suddenly become perfect like in the movies. They became real, with busy weekdays, tired mornings, rushed coffee, and that quiet kind of happiness that appears when your person is nearby. I work as a nanny at a kindergarten. My days begin with tiny jackets that refuse to be zipped, tearful, "I want my mom," and hugs that heal better than words ever could. Children teach me patience, honesty, and how to laugh for no reason at all. They're also brutally honest. "Sarah, you look pretty today," a little girl named Lily once told me. "Thank you," I smiled. "But you looked prettier yesterday." I came home laughing and told Robert everything. He replied with one of his hotel stories. He works as an administrator there. A guest demanded a room with a view of silence, he said seriously. I'm still not sure if that was a compliment or a threat. We shared these little stories almost every evening. Me, about kids who mix up my name, draw our family, with 3 sons and 1 cat. Him, about guests who lose their keys, get confused about floors, and call the front desk at 3 a.m. to ask if it's possible to turn off the moon outside the window. Our evenings became a ritual. A warm blanket, tea or coffee, soft lamplight. And him, right there. Robert listened to me as if every little story mattered deeply. And I watched him talk, watched him smile, watched the weight of the day slowly leave his shoulders. Sometimes we didn't talk at all. But it wasn't empty silence. It was ours, safe, calm, unafraid. I'd rest my head on his shoulder and think, this is love. Not loud, not performative, just warm, like home. I fell in love with him every day. With the way he wished me good morning. With how he remembered the names of my kids. With how, after a hard day, he simply held me and asked for nothing. And one evening, I realized I could no longer imagine my weekdays without his stories, my evenings without his voice, or my heart without him. I used to think love was only warmth. But one day I learned that real love can hurt too. That morning, I was talking to Lily's father. He arrived earlier than usual, and we stopped near the lockers in the kindergarten hallway. I was explaining how Lily had recently been afraid to fall asleep without a night light, joking that she was a brave little lioness who just doesn't like the dark. He smiled, listened carefully, and thanked me, sincerely, kindly. I didn't know Robert was standing behind the glass door. He had come to pick me up after work. He saw me laughing, leaning slightly toward someone else, sharing an easy, warm conversation. From my side, it was innocent. From his, it looked different. That evening, he was quiet. Too quiet. "Is there someone else?" he suddenly asked, not looking at me. I felt cold all at once. "Robert, that's Lily's father." "You were smiling like that," he said. Not accusing. Hurting. We argued for the first time. Our words were clumsy, like the fallen forks at the beginning of our story. I cried. He was angry, not at me, but at his fear. We were both afraid of losing something that was still so fragile. "I was scared," he admitted later, his voice softer. "I saw you, and I thought I could lose you." I stepped closer. "You don't lose me when I smile at the world. I choose you every day." He took my hands, as if making sure I was real. "I don't want to be someone who doubts you. And I don't want to be someone who hides her honesty out of fear," I said. "Let's learn to trust, together." We sat on the floor, our backs against the couch, surrounded by quiet night air. He held me like he wanted to protect me from everything, even from himself. That night, we became closer. Not because we were perfect, but because we were honest. Because we didn't walk away. And I understood then. If love survives jealousy, it can survive anything. A year has passed. I often think that time doesn't really change people. It quietly reveals who we truly are. Over this year, Robert and I didn't become perfect. We became real, and somehow, that turned out to be more than enough. Our wedding was small, no loud music, no crowd of guests, no rush. Just the people closest to us, warm light, flowers that smelled like calm, and me. In a simple dress where I didn't feel like a bride, but like myself. Robert was waiting for me by the window. When I walked up to him, he smiled the way he always does, as if the world had finally settled into the right place. "You know," he whispered, "I would still choose you. Even if I didn't know how this would end." I squeezed his hand and realized, this was it. Not a promise of forever, but a choice, made again and again. The kids from my kindergarten brought us a drawing. 2 adults, a big heart, and a crooked little word underneath, love. Lily hugged me so tightly, as if I belonged to her world. And maybe I did. That evening, we sat under fairy lights, drank tea, laughed at nothing in particular, and shared silence, without needing to prove anything. I looked at Robert and thought, we went through fear, jealousy, doubt. Not because we were strong, but because we held on to each other. A year ago, I was just smiling at a stranger at my friend's birthday party. Today, I call him my home. And if someone asks me what love is, I'll answer simply. It's when no one holds you back, yet you stay anyway.